What's up guys? Welcome back. So this right here is my Rustler 4x4, which is a pretty nice car. Out the box, it's able to run 3S lipo, and even without any upgrades, it's still pretty fast. But I want to make it faster, so I've got this Hobbywing Max 8 combo right here, which should hopefully do the trick. So this thing is meant for a 1/8 scale car, so it's much bigger than the stock motor, and also it's able to run up to a 6S lipo, so it's twice as powerful. So we're gonna get this thing in, and then we're gonna take out the car for a test and see just how fast we can get it to go. Enjoy! Alright, so here's the box, so let's open it up. Wow, that is massive. Also got just, this looks like a fan, and a program card, some stickers, and instructions, but we don't need those. Alright, so we've got our motor, and we've got our ESC, and these things are huge. Like, just have a look at this. It's like half an inch longer than the stock motor. That is huge. So it looks like the stock gears are not going to fit onto the motor at all, so we're gonna have to go and get some new ones. Also, have a look in there. There's already a fan on there, so that means that this fan here is actually a spare. That's really nice. It comes with a spare fan. Also, XT90 connectors, so that's not gonna work. So I've got these adapters here, which will allow us to plug it in. And at some point, I will put an XT90 connector onto the batteries, but for now, the adapters will work fine. All right, so I just went to the hobby store and I got this new gear, which fits on there perfectly. Now, I got an 11-tooth pinning gear so that it would be the same gearing ratio as it was stock, although looking at the size of this thing compared to the motor, it's probably going to be severely undergeared. So we'll run it like this for now and see how well it does, but I think that very soon we're probably going to want to gear it up a bit. So getting the new motor in is super simple. You just gotta unscrew this screw here, and then this screw here, and then this screw up here, and then you can just lift the motor right out and unplug it here. And there you go, got the motor out. And the motor mount, you can see, is held on by just these little screws right here. So you just gotta take those off. Oh my gosh, look how big this thing is compared to the stock one. That is gigantic. So next, taking off the ESC is pretty simple. There's just this screw there and that screw there. So once you've got the ESC off, then you just want to open up your receiver box. So that's just this screw here, the other one on this side, and these two screws here. So you can just unplug the original ESC, which is this one here. Take it out. Now it's out. So now we can get the new one in. So you can see this is gonna be a super tight fit. We can fit the motor like that and the ESC like that. And we've got like half a millimeter space in between them, but they do fit. However, before we get them in, I wanna program the ESC so it's on the right settings. And so apparently to program this thing, you actually plug in the program card into the fan mount. So we have to unplug the fan. You would not think that this would be the hardest step. And yet it is. There we go. There. All right, that's in. And it's on. All right, so we've got our motor mount on and we've got our gear on. So now we can just stick them in here. And then once we find the exact spot that the gear is supposed to be in, then I can tighten it down all the way. Oops, hold on. Just realized something. These wires are running into the drive shaft. All right, take two. We've got it on right. So now, oh, come on. Now I have it on upside. Okay. All right, there you go. Third time's the charm. Now it goes in right. All right, so then you can just screw it in like you normally would. All right, now it's on. So next we gotta get the ESC in, and that's a bit of an issue just because, look at this wire. This thing's like a foot long. Like, who needs that much wire? So yeah, we have to get that into the receiver box, but then we also have to figure out what we're gonna do with all this excess wire. All right, so got that plugged in. I'm gonna try and pull just as much of the wire as I possibly can in there. Yeah, look at that. That's a super flush fit. We've got like a millimeter space between the two, but a millimeter is enough. All right, yeah, that really didn't work. Hold on. All right, so I've discovered that if we remove the receiver box, then we have just enough space to get this thing in here, so that's perfect. Trouble is though, we have had to remove the receiver box, so we're gonna need to stick that on somewhere else. Although I have discovered that if we remove this one little bit right here, then it will actually be able to go back in the exact same spot that it was before. So I'm thinking that's what I'll probably do. All right, we are going to have to hot glue this on because it still just barely doesn't get over the screw holes. All right, so we've got it all on. You can see we've got like a millimeter to spare between the motor and the ESC, but that's plenty of space. And also the receiver box is held on with hot glue. Good news is though, the receiver box and the ESC aren't really structural components, so hopefully they won't fall off. You can probably mount the antenna right at the bottom of the ESC. So, and then we can get our receiver box closed back up again. And then lastly, I'm just gonna glue down our little on-off switch right here. Probably should have cleaned this before I glued stuff down. And then we'll take a zip tie and just hook all these wires together. All right, that is much better. That's perfect. So the last thing we need to do is we need to upgrade this battery tray so that we can fit 2 batteries. At the moment, you can see it fits 1 pretty much perfectly, like that. However, in order to run 6S, we need to fit 2 of these things in there. So as you can see, 2 3S lipos fit in here perfectly on top of each other. So I'm just gonna make some sort of Velcro thing to hold them in together like this. All right, so you can see we've got our Velcro battery holds down here, which look pretty nice, and they're super easy to use. All you have to do is just put in the batteries, and then put on the straps, like that. That is gonna be fast. How do you do speedruns when that happens every time you hit full foot wall? Oh. Yikes. Oh, oh. Oh. Oh, darn it. Yeah, I saw that coming. Yeah, there goes our first try. Oh, darn it. Fortunately, we've got a spare. Oh, hey, standing back there. So there it is, the Rustler 4x4 running 6S, and I am super happy with how this turned out. I mean, we're getting some ridiculous speeds out of this, and pulling some wheelies, and doing standing backflips, and getting massive air. Like, it's just amazing how much of a difference doubling the power in something can make. Now, obviously, I have a lot more upgrades planned for this thing. The main one that I want to do right now is I want to refill the front shocks, because they've been empty for quite some time now, which isn't really an issue on 3S, but on 6S it bottoms out on literally everything. And also, I want to beef up some other parts to make it a bit stronger for 6S. Mainly, I want some metal drive shafts. But moving on to some more exciting things, I also want to gear this motor up, because it definitely has a lot more power in it. And I also want to put on some off-road tires to make it faster off-road. And I might actually just put on some big off-road tires like what my friend did with his Typhon, because then that acts like gearing it up, but it also makes it really good off-road. And of course, we've got to find out something to do with this old VXL 3S system, because obviously it's not as good as the Hobbywing, but if we put it into something small, like, I don't know, maybe 18th scale, then it would definitely be pretty awesome. So stay tuned for that, subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you all then.